This is the Wooden Camera Ultra Arm. Let's get a close-up shot of this guy. So at first glance, you wouldn't think that this is anything too remarkable. Well, let's get the name in there. There we go. All right. So I bought a lot of these little magic arm type devices. Let me show you one. This is a budget one that I got off of Amazon, and there's nothing particularly wrong with it. It's small. It does the job as long as you don't put anything too heavy on it. Now let's compare this in size to the Wooden Ultra. Let me see if I can actually make this look straight. Okay. As you can see, the Wooden is a bit taller, but also just in width. That Wooden is much, much thicker. So, like I said, there's nothing particularly wrong with these smaller budget ones. Cost on this was about $20. But this Wooden one is a great example of when you want the absolute best of something. It's not cheap, but I am telling you right now, you get what you pay for. So, at this end, we have a 3/4 mount. And at this end, you have your standard 1/4-20. Both of them have rubber pads so that you don't mar up anything that you're attaching it to. You have the handle here, which is extended out, which I really like. And you can really, really crank down on this thing to get it nice and tight. And this seems to be sort of a high quality polymer here, where everything else on this is metal. On the attaching bits here, you can see they're ridged, and what that allows you to do is to really easily get your fingers in there so that you can tighten these things down without the need for having a tool. Let me grab my camera and we'll go ahead and mount this guy on here. So this is my GH5S rig, and so we'll go ahead and attach that guy right here. And you can really, really crank down on that. All right. Now, what I think a lot of people usually end up doing is doing something like this, taking a field monitor and mounting that on there. And then I'm going to crank on this handle just a little bit more so that we're good and tight here. And there you go. And I'm telling you, this is not going anywhere. And that's something that I've always hated when you go to attach a field monitor with these smaller mounts like the one I showed you before. You can kind of crank and crank and crank, and it's just not quite strong enough to handle this stuff. But with this one, I mean, it's not moving. And you, like I said, with that long handle, you can really crank down on it, and this thing is going nowhere. If you wanted to, you could take a little RGB light, and I never remember which way these things screw in. All right, there we go. And let's make sure it's good and tight. And I can just take both fingers on each side, twist on those ridges to make sure it's good and tight. And again, this thing is going nowhere. In fact, look at this. I'm holding up my entire camera rig just with this little clamp here, mount, whatever you want to call it. Ultra arm, that's what it is, the Wooden Ultra Arm. All right, let's take this guy off. I want to try something that's kind of strange that no one in their right mind would ever do, or really even have a need to do. Let me make sure it's cranked way down. All right. All right. Yeah, that guy's solid. That's not going anywhere. Here is my Canon 70-200. All right, let's see what happens. Yeah. Weird test, but is just an example of how good these little arms from Wooden are. So what also comes in the bag is, of course, they include an Allen wrench in there for whatever you might need. But what's really nice is, let's see, if you can see on the base there, if I can get in focus, you see those two little holes next to the main screw there and there? Well, Wooden actually includes these little ARRI secure stops, as if you have an ARRI style mounting hole. So I am unbelievably impressed with the Wooden Ultra Arm. It's kind of my first experience with buying the absolute best of something. And like I said, they're not cheap, but in my experience, they are by and far the best little mounting arms that are on the market. In fact, I liked them so much, as you can see, I bought 2 of them.